Hey, beautiful people. It's your host, the Caven Sisters. I'm Doreen.
I'm Juliet.
And I'm Joan.
And we have our beautiful producer, Barry.
Barry.
What's up, girl?
Hey, Barry.
And of course, as you guys can see, we have a special guest today. Our
Hello.
friend,
Yeah.
Inanoshe Richard
Yes.
Akusan,
Yes,
a lawyer and writer.
correct.
And I'm just going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself.
Well, thank you. I'm delighted to be here. My name, of course, is Inanoshe Richard Akusan, and I am a lawyer, Nigerian-trained lawyer, writer, and until recently, a Twitter employee. So that's mostly it.
Well, our topic today is about believing your own hype. And we invited you here because we think that you would have amazing insights to share on this.
Definitely.
You know?
I mean-
Definitely. Your authentic self is like who you actually are, like who you, when you're born, for example, like babies, they're like living their authentic life, who they naturally are,
Right.
without like the world, influencing
Their behaviors.
behaviors or anything. So your conditioned self actually is when you've gone through the world and like, maybe societal problems, like familiar problems, like, things like that have like affected you. And so you've put on this new self to kind of like protect you from like, or just to allow you to live like what you think your life is supposed to be.
Of course, as kids, you remember being yelled at for like behaviors you
Yeah.
would do.
Right.
And, it'll tell you, I mean, as girls, we had our own example of things like that where they would want you to be like less rough, stop
Right.
playing outside,
Right.
stop,
You're a girl, isn't it?
You're a
supposed
girl,
to
you're
do
supposed to
that,
do this,
to be.
and the things that you want to do, but they're encouraging you to shift towards another kind of person.
Because that's
Yeah.
that's the version of
Yeah.
you that they're
That-
expecting.
and they
Yeah.
prefer,
Right, and they prefer.
So like that's a very, very relatable, I guess,
Yeah.
idea, like that to find your authentic self is a journey in
Yeah.
itself, right?
It's almost like going back to how you were as a child,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
removing all of societal like pressures and
Yeah.
like expectations of who you're supposed to be as a person. How do you go from being that conditioned self and like kind of going back and finding your authentic
Yeah,
self?
Yeah.
exactly.
That's a very powerful concept. I was born and raised in north central Nigeria in a very small and unhurried town called Akwanga. So it had one major street, one church, one bank, and almost 280,000 people. And I remember my introduction to the first associations that I had with what I would, later learn to be my sexual identity, were very negative, right? I once was effeminate, and so people called me names, they said things about me, essentially projected this negativity
Right.
around these things. So my first conception of queerness, homosexuality, was from this negative place. And I think that as I think about the concept of conditioned and authentic self, how that must have skewed and impacted and influenced adversely my sense of queerness, right? And I, having lived in the US for 4 years now, and I've embarked on this radical journey of unlearning and learning things, right? Things that don't serve me, things that don't serve my journey, and things that don't serve my emotional well-being. I am incredibly sort of moved by how much, I mean, for the most part, most young some LGBTQ people are able to find joy, and I mean their first introduction to themselves, it's this joyful, positive
it's
thing,
like positive
right?
experience.
And I think it's so wonderful, and it's a thing that everyone should be able to enjoy.
Absolutely.
And as we, of course, for some of us who didn't have that benefit. We continue to strip ourselves of all the cloaks and things that we had to put on to survive our upbringing, to survive our surroundings, all the conditionings and all the things that we had to learn just to be able to, get through a day or two or a lifetime.
Absolutely.
So that's
Absolutely.
that's a wonderful one.
Yeah, since we've delved into conditioned self, authentic self, the idea of yourself versus the idea you want.
Yeah.
What was that like or when did that really present itself? Was it early for you, or was it along the way when you got older that you even knew the possibility of being able to be what you wanted rather than be trapped in who you had become or because of you had bent to society's need to like shape you? When did you realize that, it's possible for me to be who I want to be?
Interestingly, I always felt alien than native growing up in Akwanga. And I think it was mostly because, I recognized that there was something uniquely different about me.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I also thought that I was too good for Akwanga.
You were a Sarah. Okay. Beyonce.
So there was,
Akwanga.
but mind you, I had lovely memories growing up in Akwanga. And to be fair, it's a beautiful, it's a beautiful town. And yet I felt like I felt boxed in
Yes.
Of course.
as a young gay boy, even though I didn't know I was gay. And I'll tell you the moment that I had to grapple with that awareness, right? I had won this essay writing competition in a statewide essay writing competition. And I was... I represented the state in Lagos for the national leg of the competition, and there were other equally brilliant, bright people from across the country. And I remember this one girl. There was something mesmerizing about her. I was captivated. She was brilliant. I was impressed. You know those people that you meet and you just want them to like you.
Yeah.
By the way, I felt the same way about the both of you.
Oh my God.
You just want them to like you, and so you want to be the best version of yourself and so on. She was articulate, she was precise, she was concise. And I kept gravitating towards her what's it called?
Energy?
Yes. Well, her there's some gravitational pull towards her, right? And we were they would bus us from the hotel to wherever we would take the test and so on, right? And we were chatting and everyone was, jumping and whatnot. I was quite excited, And I remember back then, I realized that I didn't necessarily belong, or rather that I was on the margins of the general conception of beauty. So, but early on, I had come to a realization that I was smart, I was clever, and I was witty. So I would always project that first. Growing up with my brother, when we would go somewhere, he was considered better looking. He was considered, well behaved and so on. But I would always project my personality. I would say things and on the top of my voice, just to win people over first before before my brother would come and swoop their attention and whatnot. Anyway, I must have been saying something, and she was like, "Oh my God, you're a CC." Now I didn't know what the word CC meant.
What does this mean?
What is this?
Like
SISSY.
Yeah,
right?
SISSY. Yes, it's CC. And I had this small phone, I had a blue infrared light, and I could type, anyway, I quickly I felt a pang. My heart sank because it didn't sound like something positive. So when I checked it, then I was, I don't know, I felt betrayed. I felt like I'd betrayed myself, that I had lost the respect of this girl that I had been courting all along, right? But anyway, that's one aspect of that sort of encounters, one of those encounters, negative encounters that sort of shaped my conception of my sexuality. So in Akwanga, it was more of that, but in a more brash way, right? People calling me names, mocking me and things like that. And I think there was a healthy balance between recognizing that I didn't fit in as per culturally, but also that I possessed so much that, contextually, I would contextually elsewhere I would thrive, and I think that was something that sort of buoyed me through that those tempestuous years of my what's it called upbringing and childhood, right? And I could see somewhere there was a lighthouse somewhere. I was like, if only I could survive and I ride this wave that there's somewhere out there that
I'm not
I would be considered good looking, I'd be considered
exactly.
all these other things that I thought about myself would be fully affirmed.
Absolutely.
So in a sense, you had started to build this deep belief in yourself, this understanding that you were meant for more. You knew it.
Yes.
It was just there
Yes.
always.
Yes. And I have to say that's that was all thanks to my father, who, reminded me every day that I was clever, I was smart, and I would do things and he would affirm and
so important.
So my father was success. My father successfully built a confidence in me that as far as my intellectual side was concerned, I had no doubt in my mind that I was
intelligent.
That's amazing.
And my dad made me believe that because of that, nothing was beyond my reach.
Of course.
That's amazing.
So for the moments that I felt ugly, the years that I felt, that everyone else told me that I wasn't the baddest, I kept nursing, and I think that was something that I needed to have, that there was a quiet belief in me. I was like, nope, because I felt I was beautiful.
Yes.
But everyone around me was saying, you're not beautiful. So quietly I nursed onto that. I held that strongly and closely to my heart, intimately. Yes. And then, I used that one other thing that I knew that everyone, there was a consensus about, right? Yeah. We all universally accepted I was smart. So that was something that, I focused on. I don't know, there was a dissociation between myself and my appearance. For the longest time, I didn't care about my appearance because, I recognized that there was a disconnection between how I felt and how, and how the world around me perceived me. So I dissociated from that and decided to focus on that one thing that I knew that we all agreed on.
Exactly.
And that was, I think, a survival mechanism that really, really worked for me and paid off immensely.
Yeah, I think that's really important too, because I feel like a lot of times when you're not exactly where you want to be, or like recognizing yourself as, how you feel inside is not really matching up to outside, like it's an important coping mechanism to latch on to the thing that is definitely like everyone's telling you this is
Yeah.
this is your thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so good. So you kind of ride that wave
Yeah.
until you're able to get out of whatever that
Yes.
Yeah.
situation
Yes.
is, and then use that almost to like leverage yourself
Mhm.
to becoming whatever the best version of yourself
Yourself
is,
is.
right?
Yeah,
I agree.
of course. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really important.
And there's like I think, let's bringing up the word delusion. There's a lot of like TikTok videos talking about delusion being something that is necessary for you to kind of have to kind of make it in a world where everyone is telling you that you're not what you
Yeah.
see yourself as. And I guess the question is it really delusion? Like, in what perspective is it delusion? Is it not more from the perspective of the outside people who don't know what's in your heart, what
Yeah,
you know about yourself?
exactly.
So to them, you may appear delusional.
Yeah.
The things that you're saying, when you insist, I'm this person, I'm this person, I'm this person, and everyone is like, no, you're not. You're not. So they may call it delusion, but
But
to you,
is
it's
it
just
really
self-belief.
delusional? Right.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
just self-belief.
It is just self-belief.
And it's very interesting because people do use the word delusional like it's like such a negative thing, right? Because it's like the way it's used. But in reality, like what you've just shared with us, you know how you felt about yourself, and a lot of times the way that you feel, like it's almost like your inner reality becomes like outward
Yes.
truth,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So it's not delusional. It's just the truth. Just because they can't see
They can't
That's because
see
you
it.
can't see
Yeah.
it. You don't know what's in
Doesn't
my head.
mean-
You don't know what's in my dream.
doesn't
Exactly.
mean
you don't know.
they can't see it yet.
No.
Yes.
That's
But they
the
always-
underline that, because
Yeah.
it's
Yes,
there. They
yes.
just, it's like people's perception of you truly is none of your business.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
who you are and who you say you are is who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
And they just need to
Exactly.
catch up. That's all it
Yes.
is.
So
Yeah.
I think I've also always been very clear-eyed, right? And I think that we always require I found that for myself that it's been incredibly helpful having a healthy dose of self-fullness and mindfulness and self-awareness and self-love. So even though, I reckon that somewhere else, I'd be, wow, people would, brush over me and whatnot, right? And people would celebrate things about me that within the context that I was in, that not everyone sort of affirmed, right?
Yeah.
I also saw, I could recognize some of the obstacles. I had acne, I had, and some of these other things, right, that I could see why they were shrouding people's
Judgment. Eyes.
judgments. Yes,
perception.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I think sometimes also, and only you know how you truly, truly feel about yourself.
Yeah.
So there is a need for that reckoning and knowing truly. And, we can say, yes, we love ourselves and continue to chant it. But if you really do not, then you really don't. And once you have you've chanted all the affirmations that there are, and, in the intimacy of your thoughts, only you know how you feel. So I think that we need to reconcile how we feel. And if you really truly don't feel great about something, and you know that there is a path to betterment, and that is part of self-fullness, right? Knowing that, recognizing the wonderful things about yourself, how the value you have and you possess, right? But also the rooms for improvement
Yes,
and
absolutely.
development and so on.
Exactly.
And I think that was game-changing for me when I recognized that I didn't like the acne. People kept saying, like it, love it. I said, I don't. And you can't force me to. I can't even force myself to like it.
That's right.
As much as we would want to operate outside of the societal forces and sociocultural conditionings these are powerful, principalities and powers, as Nigerians would say. So I'm sorry, you can't girl boss or boy boss your way out of these things.
Facts.
So, and I'm someone that would always advocate for self-preservation.
Yeah.
I would do anything that would, any one positive thing that I know would make me feel great about myself. And I think once I began, I had this, what's it called? Larger than life sense about myself. Oh, I deserve the best of things. I deserve the best of, I deserve the best of boys. I deserve the best of this. And I had to ask myself, would the best of boys, if I were the best of boys, those boys that I wanted, right, those guys that I wanted, would I want myself? And this could be vacuous. This could be, what's it called? Sorry, one of these vain things, right? But in truth, what's it called? Physicality matters, right? And once I recognized that I liked guys with chiseled abs, I liked guys with toned arms and whatnot. I didn't have that. So I had to tell myself that in order to get to be, and again, you have to choose for yourself whether you want to be the person who waits on the sidelines for someone to glance at you, or you want to be the one who is at the center of things and doing the glancing, and others waiting for your glance. And I wanted to be the one in the epicenter of everything, you know, and people hovering around me, seeking to meet my what's it called, my eye line.
Yeah.
And once I honestly reconcile that for myself, then I said, okay, I need to walk towards being that person that is able to dictate for myself. I'm able to determine. In the past, I mean, any attention was great for me, right? But having arrived and gotten to this place, and you know, I consider myself a working project, you know, and that a never-ending working project that you have to work towards. So once I recognized that, then I had to put in the work. I was like, okay, now we'll work out. My friend had always mentioned Accutane, and I was like, oh my God, no. And then I went to see a dermatologist, and I got an Accutane, and it worked magic. It wasn't the easiest ride.
An ad for Accutane.
I mean,
performing miracles out here.
And I realized that once the acne wasn't there anymore, even I would look into a mirror and nod and say, Kai, you know, God, this is God's, I am God's greatest creation. This is good.
Exactly.
You know, God's works are beautiful and wonderful. And then once the body matched what I was feeling inside,
It's a wrap.
It was done.
done. The guys that would keep me on red in the past, the things that I would take from guys, sort of the subtle disrespect and slight. I remember once, some of my friends came to visit me. I was in decent time. And then, you know, both of them, you know, very beautiful guys. And then they were like, oh my God, did you notice that guy was checking us out? I was...
So they said us.
They're just like,
They removed you. The disrespect.
We all knew that they were the ones that people were checking out, but they had to...
What you
They
say?
kept going back to, I saw him look at you and he looked at me. And I was just there like, my dear, I was...
Oh my God.
See, little thrashes of earthquakes were just ripping in my heart. And I wondered why I felt that way. And once I realized that, you know, so I think it's fine to feel these things, right?
yeah.
But rather than trying to put oil over them, what's it called? Petrol or,
Gas.
whatever oil, right? Vegetable oil over them just so they would temporarily temper those feelings.
Yeah.
I think it's important to invest in not only interrogating why you're feeling the things you're feeling, but if there's a way around it, if you can work at making yourself feel better, I would advocate for that. Because
Absolutely.
I feel my best. And you know what? We all experience rejections. And now when I experience rejection, it never occurs to me. It never crosses my mind that my looks has anything to do with it.
Exactly.
And I know that it is them. It is not
It
me.
has nothing to do with you.
In the past.
It's everything to do with them.
Yes. And you know when people say, oh, it's me, it's not you. And in the past, I'd question you about, no, it's me. It's not
really them.
But now,
really them.
truly it's you. It's not me. Because I'm sorry, I'm set.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And this is you sorting through
your own
whatever.
whatever it is.
It's not me.
It
I
has
am
nothing
good
to
to
do with
go.
Yeah.
You're looking
You
for
know.
something different.
Yes,
that's
yes.
you know.
And I'm able to call out BS. Because I'm not walking on eggshells.
Yeah. You're not desperate.
Thinking to myself, oh my God, it's a privilege
Yeah.
engaging with a guy that looks this good.
Yeah.
Like your mind is clear.
Yeah.
Yes, because
Your
guess
mind
what?
is clear.
1,000,001 hot guys would walk off and as you're walking, you're taking a step, someone is taking your place.
Exactly.
What did Gucci? Is it Gucci Mane?
Yeah.
Miss one next 15 one.
I'm sorry. As you're walking off, someone better
else is there to replace
is
the
coming.
situation.
So
And I know that for sure. So that's
so important.
Man, it really just wraps it up to you have to just do the work
Do
for
the work.
you to believe in your own hype.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to do whatever the work, whatever you need. And it doesn't have to be according to anyone else's rule. If you like what you see, if you like how you feel, if you like what you do, then you're in there. Then you don't, the shakes leave your body.
Right.
Exactly.
And it's so important to state that you have to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Because that is so important. Like you want to be able to walk out or walk into this world and feel confident and like feel good about yourself, and not just for physicality, but for any other part of your life.
Yeah.
Like if there's something that you're a little bit insecure about, or something that is making you not feel like your best self, or whatever that thing is that is like holding you back, like instead of like cowering away from it, or like just like, you know, sitting in this pit of like self-pity, because honestly that's what it is. Like face the thing and say, okay, so what can I do to get myself from feeling like this to feeling like this? Like how do I go from down here all the way up here? And like once you do that thing, it's gonna make all the difference in your life. It's gonna make all the difference in the way you see yourself, your confidence level, and all of that will project into the way other people see you too, and even the way you receive other people too.
Confident.
So,
Confidence. And I feel like you just have to be like, if you already know, like how you said you knew who you were, you know, you have to be intentional. You see yourself as something, but you can't just like sit around and just wait for it to come to you. You actually have to go and get it.
The other thing that we wanted to delve into, speaking of like, you know, believing in yourself and like believing in your hype, is, you know, all those things. You can't talk about that without talking about imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Because I think for most people who are, you know, trying to go from who they are to what the idea of what they want to be, you know, a lot of times you find yourself in these new spaces. You know, you've finally gotten to that dream job, or you've finally gotten in that dream opportunity. And, you know, I can speak only for myself, but, you know, when I found myself in situations like that, and I'm in this new space and I'm finally have this amazing job, oh my God, I still always get hit with this feeling of like, am I supposed to be here? I feel like these people are gonna like, they're gonna find me out. They're gonna realize that, oh wait, is she supposed to be here? Does she have the, you know? So like trying to work through those feelings and like trying to get to a point where you're also just like confident in that space, you know, is also key. And like the thing that works for me is honestly just like faking it. I just fake the confidence until it becomes real. Like it literally is just like this thing where, you know, I believe that I'm this person and I believe I'm already this thing and so I am. And just running with that thought, running with those feelings until it starts to feel real.
Yeah.
I feel like people always say that everybody's faking it. So like when I heard that, I don't know who I heard it from or whatever, but like when I heard that everybody is actually also faking it, it
some
made me
extent.
feel like more comfortable and like, okay, fine. I will just do what I can do to like, you know, get by until I start to feel like I'm confident enough to like, you know, really, I don't know, hold this power or like hold this position or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think everybody's faking it. So it's like I don't think there's anything wrong.
Yeah.
With
You fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the fake it till you make it in a sense is almost like giving it time.
Yeah,
It's true.
Exactly.
You know, giving
Like
it time to
don't have the
become
meltdown yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
You just started.
Wait.
Everyone
Wait
is
a
like
second.
kids start by crawling before
Right.
they
Yeah.
start walking, before
Yeah.
they start
Right.
running.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Nobody has it figured out.
yeah, it's literally it's just the time to build the skill. And I mean, I think the confidence comes from seeing yourself actually producing work in whatever new space you're in.
Yes.
You know,
And conquering
conquering,
like your fears.
Exactly.
Showing up every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like doing the best that you can.
Yeah.
And like and over time with
see
everything
growth.
You see growth.
You
Like
see
every time you
change.
start something new, it's always a little bit nerve-wracking because even
like
the
this
most,
show.
Yeah, like
It's our first season and we're
you know?
terrified. half the
So
time.
like even
I'm
and the
faking
thing
it, guys.
even the most experienced people and the ones that appear to be the most
Yeah.
confident
Yeah.
are still having to fake it.
Yeah.
Like they still do. Like they still get jitters. It still is a thing. Like and like it's just a matter of like not allowing your fears to like win.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like just
Exactly.
showing up and being present and being persistent and consistent.
yeah.
Like those are all the things that you need.
Presence of mind. It's I
Yes.
think for everything I always go back to that because you have to first. I think for some people, for a lot of people, they experience things and don't even recognize that they're experiencing those things, right? So you have to be in a mindful place where you are you are present in every moment and also present in every feeling, right? And you're able to recognize that I'm feeling this thing, I'm feeling that thing, and then ask yourself again, why am I feeling these things? When we're able to pinpoint those pain points, right? Those things that are causing us all those anxiety points. When you're able to see, I have some of the smartest friends and the most caring friends. And I always say that one of my greatest fortunes in life it's the friends that I've been able to collect over the years. They are present, they are there, they are honest, they are truthful, and they are intelligent. And so I am feeling things, and sometimes you can't yet articulate what it is, and then you share your experience, and people are able to. And could it be that? Could it be that? And we do real, honest work of sharing and holding each other. I think this, you're feeling you're feeling this because of that. And perhaps this may be, a way forward for you if you were, so on and so forth. So I think there's a need for
Who surrounds you too to
Community.
Yes,
People need to
community.
be able to
Yes,
pour
yes.
into you as
Honesty
well.
as
Yeah.
well.
That's
To
literally
build like
what-
your self-belief. Like,
exactly. Even straight from even the beginning,
Yeah.
the story you told about your
Exactly.
dad.
Yes.
So self-belief is also facilitated by who surrounds you.
Yes,
Because
definitely.
if my dad
Yeah.
didn't hammer that in,
Yeah.
I mean, I think I would have been swept away by
Yeah.
the current of every other
Yeah.
thing.
Exactly.
So my brother was always, beautiful. My brother is, every girl wanted him. And he was reserved. So he
was
would
like
walk
that.
into a room
And he
Just
just
quiet mystery.
and everyone
mysterious.
is like trying to understand why, who he is and all that.
he got it.
Hey, my dear, I suffered.
Oh my God.
And there I was on the margins.
But you're not on the margins now.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
Look where
Oh,
you
no.
are.
Where you standing?
no.
In the middle of the room.
Amazing.
Spotlight.
Spotlight on you.
On you. All right, so
Yeah.
we got to move forward. Because
Yeah.
we chatted
Onward
and
we
it's so
go.
much fun.
So
Yeah.
much fun.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move to
I mean, we're
solution, really.
yeah, exactly.
Where we really talked about it. On
Yeah,
the
we-
card is how do you personally build self-belief, but
Yeah.
I think we should just maybe
Yeah.
summarize everything we're
You
talking
said
about.
community, you know.
Community is
huge,
important.
huge part.
Yeah.
Who pours into you?
Yeah.
Like how? Like, do you have people who are able to
Yeah.
give you like amazing like affirmations that
Yeah.
you can
Okay.
that kind of pull you through the tough times when
Yeah.
But
you
also
even
honest
have
feedback
that.
when
Yes,
the time
honest-
is
oh,
when,
yeah,
it,
of
when it
course.
demands
That's also
that.
part. That's
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah. So
Exactly. You have to be honest with yourself.
with yourself.
Yeah,
yes.
first of all,
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, you have to meet that honesty with yourself.
Being intentional.
Yeah,
Yes.
being
Yeah.
intentional. Sorry, I wanted to say part of the journey of all this like work we're talking about is also realizing the work of again your circle,
Yeah.
removing or seeing who around you is making you feel some kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
being around certain people can really make you feel some kind of way
Yeah.
about
Yes.
yourself. You know, and it's like one of the most
I think we've
hugely
Yeah.
important
It
things.
is so big.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
so important.
Yeah.
The circle that you keep.
Yeah.
How do these people pour into you?
Exactly.
Are they truly encouraging you to
Yeah.
succeed versus, we've all gone through that and we've all had those experiences with people.
and you feel it.
Yeah.
When
you
you're with
feel it.
people, when
Always
you're with
feel
people
it.
that so I've experienced people that, after perhaps a 5, 10, 20 minute conversation, I feel drained.
Oh
my
my
God.
God.
Everything.
Yeah.
And I know that. And I know
The
never,
vampire.
never to repeat that again.
Exactly.
Because again,
Energy
I am
drain.
present in
Yes.
my mind and in my body and in the moment. And so I
Yeah.
know I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And once I walk, I leave that distance, and that is it though.
That's
Like,
it.
I'm
I'm done. But
Yeah.
there are those that you don't want to even leave. You are
Yeah.
leaving, you're laughing,
You're feeling nourished.
you feel
nourished.
Yeah.
That's the word.
When you leave that circle,
Yeah.
you feel great. You feel
Yes.
great about yourself.
I literally have hangovers from people. Like if the next day I can actually
feel so
feel
drained.
my
Drained.
spirit down. I'm
Yeah.
like, why am I feeling
It's like this
somehow?
day drained
And
me.
then this day drained me. And then there's some days that you hang out with your people, and the next day you're
you're
like,
feeling
life,
life
is
is good.
good.
Yes.
Life is
Yes.
great.
Yes.
You know, we
Like,
have so
you
much
feel
to plan for.
motivated.
There's,
Yeah.
life feels
beautiful.
amazing.
So you
Yeah.
really,
Yeah,
the
these are all
important thing
things.
is to truly be honest with yourself,
Yeah,
be honest with your circle,
yeah,
and see, really identify the people who pour into you and the ones that leave you drained.
Yeah.
It is really as simple. Like it really is that simple. It's an energy thing. And everybody knows that.
exactly. So
We don't
energy.
always want to admit
Quickly,
it, but
so I
it's
said-
the truth.
Yeah.
Sorry. Quick. So I said that I'd been let go recently, and I remember all my dearest friends sort of like messaging me, right? And they're like, "Oh, you were incredible. You're incredible." I said, "I know. I was great. I was exceptional at this job."
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I wasn't saying that to make myself feel good, but because deep down, I gave the job my best, and I did,
I'm
and I
sure.
accomplished
Of
a
course.
lot. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that they reminded me of that. But I also I already reminded myself, So I think that also lately, when people tell me oh my God, you look wonderful, you look amazing, when I go, I'm like, thank you. I no longer deflect when people pay me compliments. I no
Accept
longer,
your compliment.
what's
Self-deprecating.
boomerang,
Yeah, like,
boomerang
yeah,
compliment.
yeah,
You know, there's that boomerang game
Right,
when
where
someone
you
said,
turn
your back
no,
around,
it's
then
you,
you-
you're not it's you.
Just accept
Nah,
it.
Thank
just
you.
say
Own
thank you.
it.
Thank you.
It's yours.
Thank
Yeah.
you. And then it's like, and I think for them, then they try to reinforce, they try to restate it. Well, I hope you believe. I said, no, I know and I believe it, and that is why I am accepting it.
Yes.
Because I know that I am all these things, that I am beautiful,
Yeah.
that I am incredible. I'm
Yeah.
God's gift to this earth.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is why I'm accepting it, right? And there are times that you tell me things that I know aren't true.
Exactly.
And of course, I'm like, you mean the best, but thank you. It's not the case. And if I feel like it's something that I need to work on, if it's something that keeps me up at night, then guess what? I found my next project.
Yes.
absolutely.
I
It's
love,
as simple
I
as
love
that.
that. I love that.
This
Oh
is
my
amazing.
God.
What an amazing conversation.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it. Best guest to talk about this. We knew
Yeah.
it. We like that.
No, we've had the
We
most
could be
wonderful
here like
conversations.
yeah.
honestly, you could be here like for forever.
No, I feel like we need to wrap it up with that.
Yeah.
That
I
statement.
think
Yeah,
that
was
is it.
amazing.
That's your
Yeah.
next
Yes.
project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank
Whatever
you all.
is tricking you, that's your
Yeah.
next project.
Well, thank you all for joining us. This has been an amazing conversation.
Oh,
Thank you,
for having-
Nano
Oh
Shea.
no, thank you for having me.
This was amazing.
I mean, we've always had this, wonderful, heartfelt conversations, and
Yeah.
I think it's for the first time we're having it on camera.
camera.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
And more to come. So
Yes.
definitely tune in next week.
Yeah.
And
And follow us on YouTube on our channel TGLM TV, and also follow us on at Vain and Shameless Pod and on at the Girls Like Me on Instagram. See you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Alright.